All right, what is up? What is up? So, Kingdom Aquaponics. We've got his compost. Rick ordered a pound of his compost, and I'll tell you what, I'm hoping for the best here. If you guys don't know who Leighton Morrison is, man, go find out. He's got a podcast. The man is a giant in my eyes, and I don't know him. I've watched him over and over. And for someone who's learning at the level that I'm wanting to learn, getting into the quantum realm of things, man, I've got my fingers crossed here. This was making me more nervous than if I was testing my own compost. So this is what it looks like. It came a little bit dry, and I'm okay with that because what I did the right thing. I've learned through all this testing that I rehydrate compost when I'm going to test it. I get it to around 40% moisture, and I will tell you that this thing, I haven't even mixed it. There it is in the test tube. So if that's already telling me anything, that's just lovely. You don't, I haven't turned it, I haven't mixed it yet, which I need to do. But I wanted to share that because most times I just don't happen. He's got all of his metrics here. I'll actually post a better picture of this as we're reviewing it. So I want to get into this, and you know, I already know. I'm hoping for the best here because again, I look up to this guy. He's one of these people that we listen to regularly, and I fully support what he does, and I appreciate what he does. So let's get into it. Let's dive in. Yeah. Okay, so we're in it, and I've did a 1-to-8 dilution like I normally do. That just there's really no science behind that. I just found that's kind of where I like to be. And here we go. So I'm already just right off rip, right? I'm looking at minerals, silica probably, and now knowing this guy, and I've watched a lot of his stuff. He's all in with building. I mean, this guy's got it. I'm gonna hit this with the epi. Cool. Let's see. Nothing happening there. Just wanted to see what I want to see. What of these minerals would be excite under that epifluorescent. So I am currently at 100 time magnification. Oh, boom. Look at that. So if you've watched any of my videos, this guy right here, that is a dower larva, nematode. Watch this thing light up. They absolutely fluoresce under epifluorescent lighting. That is a nematode that is dormant, waiting for whenever he's ready or it's ready. Here's another thing I could tell you right now, and I recognize this right away. I would recognize this even without knowing or watching his podcast and knowing what he's connected to, affiliated with. But this here, that is aquatic. That is something you're going to find in water samples, inoculations. And again, that's what I'm really big on, is the aquaculture. So I haven't really gone much further looking for anyone that would explain these things the way he does. I'm expecting to see a lot of aquatic in here. I'm at 200 right now. So there's a piece of organic matter there. That is cool. I forgot the name of that. Little guy zipping around. Lot of extra. Lot of mineral. Look at that right there. See, I bet you that might maybe light up. No. Cool. Okay. And just because it doesn't light up doesn't mean anything. I know that phosphorus is gets excited by that. See, here's where we start getting into things that just I haven't even seen. All right, this is cool. What are you? And this is kind of like when you get into this aquatic stuff that I can't call that, but it's got stuff in it. Again, let me see if that lights up. Nope. Completely fades out. Man, that is crazy looking. I'm at 400. 400 time magnification. I'll take it. I dig that. And I would guess that it came from part of the aquaculture. And I love finding things like that. You know, it makes it, some people don't have access to this level of aquaculture. This is all this stuff here, I'm going to guess, because I see it in my samples. I see it when is that a diatom? It looks like a diatom there. What else am I looking at here? Oh, that looks like another. I don't know what that is, man. Let me go back. Let me go to 400 real quick. That looks like a piece of dower larva that got ripped up. That should glow. Yep. Another dower nematode larva, perhaps. If I had to guess, probably got destroyed in my little mix-up. That looks like a piece of fungal hyphae there. Oh. Let me see if I can clean that up a little bit. I can't call it. There's a protozoa right there. Very good, necessary. Then you've got this thing just moving, and there's little, you know, in the background. There's just, I don't know what they are. I don't know. They're so small. I don't want to call them ciliates. I don't want to call them protozoa. This looks like perhaps some algae, something made of silica, something made of glass. I'm going to keep moving this way. There's another protozoa here. That's potential fungi. And you know, the hyphae is usually uniform, but again, you got to consider that I'm in there shaking it up, and that looks like it was something as well here. And again, we're up against the aquatic world here, and I've been using it for quite a while. We add it to everything we do here, and that's just a whole nother world that I have a long way to go. I'm gonna call that biological, though, whatever that is next to what looks like was a protozoa. You know, and there's a lot of fulvic acid in this sample. You know, all this light brown. I mean, it's got cumic, but it is fulvic, and that's exciting to me. Because if I test, and I will test a pH on this, it's probably money. Let's keep it moving. There's another cyst of some type there. Whoa, damn. That's 200. Let me back this off. That is a nematode. Big nematode. That's a massive nematode. I can see it on my glass moving. That's how big it is. That's cool. Not the first time I've seen it like that, but that is dope. And then he's got his face buried. Let me see if I can identify this nematode. Probably probably an herbivore, considering what's in his face. I'm gonna have a hard time zooming in. But looking inside of his body, you know, I'm gonna get closer. Might get blurry for a little bit, but let me see what I can. You can see the stylet on this thing. It's like a spear. So this is not a bacterial feeder. This is an herbivore. It's a spear, but you don't have the bulbs in the back that would classify it as a root feeder. I mean, there's no need for a root feeder to be in here. But yeah, that is a great looking nematode. And it makes sense. The bacterial nematodes are usually smaller. All right. The simplest of things I had to go remind myself of. It's a fungal feeding nematode. And here, right there, come down to be fungal feeder. You see a little stylet here? Over here would be a root feeder. It's got these little balls dangling. So, fungal feeder. Gosh, this too early. Too early. Let's see. All the same. Amazing sized, big. All right, let me back off of that. And let's keep moving. Look at that. This is definitely different. Even different from the aquaculture that I have here. Or maybe I just need to observe, I don't know. Is that going to glow? Is that like some type of organic matter that's got life in it? Whatever it is, it's biological. Because let's go to 400 on that. Let's see if we can see inside. So I don't know if that's, bro, what is that? Is that like, is that bacteria inside, above it? No, that's something above it. Because I don't know. I can't call it, but I want it. So good. 50-50. Maybe alive, maybe not. Either way, let's go with it. I'm going to back off to 100 real quick. Just grab a bigger field of view. At 100, I can see more. It's a lot catching my attention. What we got here? Let me keep moving. I don't want to be here for an hour, and I probably can. And I'm passing things up, by the way. There's just, here and here. It's all beneficial aquatic. There's another protozoa there. Tons of silica and diatom. There's another nematode right there. There's just, you go back here. More diatom. He's out in Maine. This explains a lot of this aquatic microbe. That looks like another protist. Yep. Then there's a diversity in the protozoa that I'm finding as well. I'm going to back out again. Take it to 100. Keep on mowing it, as Matt would say. As Matt Powers would say, mowing the field. Yeah, so I'm having a hard time keeping up with this thing at anything less than 40. But this thing is flat out flying. I can't tell you what it is. By the speed of it, though, maybe a ciliate. Just tearing up organic matter. What is that? Let's take a look at that. That might be like a piece of a bug or something. Woohoo! Yep. Whatever that is, it's probably made of phosphorus. That thing is lit. And then here, look at this. Here we go with biochar or charcoal. This is gonna expose everything attached to it. Look at that piece of organic matter. Voila. You know, you can't go wrong there. You've got magnetism, you've got quorum sensing, it's gluing everything to this. Fire, absolute fire for the rhizosphere. This is why I would do an extract with this or wash it right into the... Actually, I would top dress with this. And because again, there's not, so there's here. There, perfect example. That is some type of something. I'm seeing this throughout. So it's either nutrient, it's some type of mineral, it's some type of something that's going to be feeding the life in your soil. It's not just a piece of clay or sand. And even so, I don't have beef with that, but I've seen his work. Go check him out. He's masterful at what he does. And I'm not just saying that. I love the aquatic culture here. Look at that. Let's see if we can get closer to that and maybe run an identification on it. Yeah, right. Let's see. That might be an egg. Oh, look at that. Protozoa sitting right next to that. That might be an egg. If I had to guess, let's see. This is going to make that decision for me. Eggs will tend to do that. They'll also tend to kind of glow at the edges versus just completely fading out into the background when I put the epilight on it. There's your piece of sand there. There's a good looking Arcella there. More diatoms, man. Diatoms. I will take them. Some people pay for bags of diatoms to inoculate. Which means that there was algae in here. I grow chlorella against spirulina, and when I put it in my compost, it disappears. Look at that. Look at that thing. That right there. Let me see. Let me get a closer look at that. Definitely a diatom, a big diatom. It probably will not fluoresce, maybe. No, yeah. Usually diatoms, the chlorella in it kind of fades out for whatever reason after a while. I don't know why. Oh, I guess it doesn't. Actually, I do, kind of. Yeah. We've taken it out, put it back in the sun, in the jar, not in soil. So the sun is like charging the battery of it all. And again, these are my thoughts. I haven't gone and done the work. I bet he may know. So one more thing I'm just going to do. And, I'm looking. I passed up what I believe was a water bear egg. And I can't find it again. I really wanted to share that. That looks like another piece of a bug, maybe. So I'm going to go drop polar on this real quick. Yeah, so here's what I knew was going to happen under polar, because polar is going to light up minerals. I mean, look at this. This is where, see, this is to me where this completely excels. We're running into life, obviously. Look at that. We're running into protozoa. We're running into nematodes. Not as many as I'd like to see. Not what I would classify as a biocomplete. But you know what? If you build it, they will come. And that's what's going on here. It's built for the biology to come and move into it. It's like a casting. And it's fine as a casting. He's got it sifted for surface area, man. You know, it's well put together. And see, but this is what, this to me is going to be whatever his mix is. Look at that. Everything fluorescing here. We're talking minerals, man. We're talking, look at this. Dude. Yo, what is that, bro? Whoa. That looks trippy, whatever that is. Let me hit it. Wow. Whoa. I gotta pull back on this real quick. We gotta get in here. What? Dude, that is crazy. Let's hit it with Epi. See if it pisses it off. Not pissing it off. Definitely alive. Definitely biological. I have no idea what that is. I'm at 100 time magnification. I don't know. Is it a larva of some type? Is it? Let's get closer. Yeah, it's like a, you can see the little legs. See that? It's like a arthropod or something. That just looks wicked cool, man. It definitely a bug of some type. You see his little claw there. And his little legs probably all jacked up, stuck between my slide. That looks crazy though. All right, let me get back on track. That was a good find. All right, back to the polar. I see things moving everywhere. And then you can see the little, I don't know if you can see that. On my 4K, I can see it. There are little flashes. Those flashes are bacteria in the background. Now, I just moved over to 200, so we're going to lose some of the quality. Yeah, definitely not as exciting as being at 100 magnification under these polar film. And then you can see everything moving, you know, where the viscosity, you know, of it all, you know, you start getting into Joe Pollock's talks of fourth phase water. Look at how dope that looks. Yeah, I would take this build any day. I guarantee. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Look at, there's another nematode at 100. Yeah, I get to be here all day. I always say that, but it's because if it's this entertaining, I can. It's like artwork. It's like a screenshot. I need to take a screen. I need to take a shot of that and print something out and hang it on my wall. I just like space. Look at all the tiny little. Wow. Uh-huh. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe. just the light or something. Anyway, cool. All right. One more thing I want to look at, as I want to look at this under. Let's look at it under the oblique technique. Man, I really wish I could find that egg. I'm on a pretty big slide here, so. What is that? See, look at this is what I'm talking about here. You know, these are the things here. And then, so here, let me do this again, just to prove see if I'm right or wrong. Well, doesn't matter, I guess. Yeah, you see? That's what I'm telling you. It's a type of mineral or nutrient or compound that's in here that I don't know what it is. But I want it, right? This is part of his build. And, you know, I use a lot of different things. I don't think I've seen that. And I'm seeing it scattered throughout. You know, it's been distributed nicely. So I know that it was done with an intention, you know, so I dig it. Let's look at it under oblique. Oblique again. Eagle's technique. Pull that back. And that just, to me, looks like artwork. I don't know the name of the artwork that I'm thinking about. I'll have to figure that out. But you see how that just pulls it off the glass? Let me do that. Look at how amazing that looks. There's a spore. That looks like a spore there. Look at this thing here. That's either a spore, a pollen, you can see this little microbe moving. This is almost like phase contrast without the heavy ticket, the dollar item on it. You've got a protus just doing its thing here. The sample looks outstanding under this technique. Well built, man. So anyway, I'm gonna try to go, but that just looks so clean. Look at these diatoms under this technique. Let me try to get it to 200. See how if I can hold the. Yeah, look at that. You can see the patterns on the diatom there. That is so cool. There's another piece of diatom there. It really outlines it. And it also takes the fungal hyphae and brings it up to the forefront. You see that? There's a piece of hyphae there. Clearly see the septa on it. There's what looks like another type of an amoeba there. Right there. And then here's another excellent looking type of diatom. Look at this thing. I'm going to just come back to regular. Wow. You see, I would say that that's a piece of organic matter. But you never know what you're looking at, you know? Because if I do this, it changes it. I'm looking at it in a different light now, and it now looks a little more intricate than just organic matter. All right, for sure now. Anyway, Leighton, good stuff, homie. I'm happy to see that your product is what you preach and you practice, man. So everybody keep growing your soil. You know, use aquaculture, use aquatics. Always screaming and kicking that. You know, Gardens in Glass. We're always rocking that out. Daniel and Rick, we're always adding it. We're always digging for it. And you're introducing things that we have beyond what we can imagine. All right, we're back. So this is 13 hours later. I left it in the test tube and I wanted to see what happens. And what I thought was going to happen, I'm going to guess that I'm right. There's a big ciliate. But take a look at, let's see if I could tune that guy in. Obviously, he wants to steal the show here. He's up high on the slide. Oh, come on. Yeah, he's moving way too fast for me to. Crazy looking ciliate. Cool. Anyway. So here's the power of algae. I don't know how many people know this, but like I said, I deal with algae. Most samples that sit for 13 hours, most samples that sit for a couple hours, you end up with a gang of ciliates. I've got that one ciliate that's just cruising around, but other than that, you know, these algae are creating oxygen. They're keeping this compost breathing, basically, with oxygen, which is hella cool, because if I were to throw anything else under the scope after this many hours, there's going to be way more activity ciliate wise. So they're not, and they're in here, trust me, they're just not waking up. They're insisted, you know, this is what they do. They tucked away until they're needed. You know, that's my thoughts on ciliates. I don't particularly care to call them the bad guys, because they have a job. But all this, look at that. That looks pretty cool. Let's see if I can cut them in at 400. Cut them in the action. Probably not. Look at that. Diatoms are amazing. Look at that. That's perfect. There's a flagellate right there. I'm at 400. I can see the flagellum. They love oxygen. They love aerobic compost. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. The power of algae. The power of building a soil that can get through some hard times. And I say that living in Florida, you know, that any given day a hurricane can hit and we're flooded. This is some type of cyst there. There's no way I'll be able to identify that. That's the life. I'm at 200 magnification. So yeah, I wanted to dive in and check it at this point, because after all, I know as I was out in the field today that I wanted to spend a little more time looking at this. You've got life in the background that's so small. There's a spore there. That looks like some type of, if I had to guess, gene transferring going on down there. So small, but I can't even. Oh no, it's dragging some type of organic matter with it. I won't even try to zoom into that. But look at here, you've got this little Smallest bit of life everywhere. Oh, but the diatom game is on point, man. I've only seen this many diatoms out of a sample that I harvested out of a lake that I happen to know is a honey hole for diatoms. There's another spore there, so at this point we're looking at diversity of spores. This thing here, probably a microplastic. Unfortunately, we deal with it. It's not glowing, but usually it does. But I'll give it that. It's not glowing, so I'm not going to waste too much time on that. Here's a nice piece of fungal hyphae. About that, there's another diatom. See if I can get that to fluoresce. Yeah, he's just got different types of diatoms. I mean, of course. I mean, I've got mine here in Florida. He's out there in Maine. There's something. He's filled with life. It's compared to my compost, it's different. It's a different type of life. I don't have a fraction of this type of diatom game in mind. And this is going to force me into like aquaculture. Look at that gorgeous protozoa. Look at that wonderful football-shaped spore. There's a rod. So this type of bacilli. Another protozoa there. Man, I'm jealous of the diatoms. I gotta get with this dude, find out what he's doing. I dig this. How do I keep him alive? I'm trying to keep him alive. I'm trying to stabilize him. And outside of learning how to grow a diatom farm, which I'm willing to do, to be honest with you. Look at the size of that thing. Huge. Some big diatoms. I'm at 400 there, but still, that is big. Another flagellate. So, imagine hitting this, inoculating this into one of the piles over at Gardens and Glass, getting some of this action in there. Massive, extra large diatoms. I dig it, man. Look at that spore. Anyway, I know I've extended this video longer than I want to, but I had to give it its props because this is to be expected from Leighton Morris. Go check him out. Check out his podcast, man. It is a wealth of knowledge. And his homie Ken out there, they do it big, man. They pull the community together. That looks like a piece of hyphae. That's a nice looking piece of hyphae. There's another testate amoeba. Even the amoebas seem to be like, I don't know, more silica maybe than what I'm used to seeing here. That is so cool to be able to take a look at something from a state that's just, the soils are completely different. the way they compost. And he's got a technique of composting that's wild. And again, into the quantum side of things. So I'm at the top of the slide here. Anyway, yo, go check them out. This is legit. I'm down with this. I'm down with the diatom action. I got a new standard with the diatoms that I need to reach. I want to get it all. Imagine getting the type of protozoa, spores, and nematodes that we're dealing with here. Which now imagine here, that'll they're gonna move in. This is built for action. I don't know if the diatoms will hold. I got to do a little more research. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole of maintaining diatoms. He obviously has, and I dig that big time. It's look at that. What is that? See, this is why I can't get off the scope. I can never get off the scope, man. I always say I'm gonna go. I gotta stop saying I'm gonna go and just do it. I see two things right now that have my interest. Whatever that is, but this here, it's a protozoa. That looks like an encysted protozoa. Yeah. All right, man. Damn, another 10 minutes. Well, we did it. I'm out.